Do not boast of yourself and tomorrow, for you know not what a day may bring forth. Let another man praise you, and not your own mouth, a stranger, and not your own lips. Stone is heavy, and sand weighty, but a fool's unreasoning wrath is heavier and more intolerable than both of them. Wrath is cruel, and anger is an overwhelming flood. But who is able to stand before jealousy? Open rebuke is better than love that is hidden. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are lavish and deceitful. He who is satiated with sensual pleasures loathes and treads underfoot a honeycomb. But to the hungry soul every bitter thing is sweet. Like a bird that wanders from her nest, so is a man who strays from his home. Oil and perfume rejoice the heart, so does the sweetness of a friend's counsel that comes from the heart. Your own friend and your father's friend forsake them not, neither go to your brother's house in the day of your calamity. Better is a neighbor who is near in spirit than a brother who is far off in heart. My son, be wise, and make my heart glad, that I may answer him who reproaches me, as having failed in my parental duty. A prudent man sees the evil and hides himself, but the simple pass on and are punished with suffering. The judge tells the creditor, take the garment of one who is security for a stranger, and hold him in pledge when he is security for foreigners. The flatterer who loudly praises and glorifies his neighbor, rising early in the morning, it shall be counted as cursing him, for he will be suspected of sinister purposes. A continual dripping on a day of violent showers, and a contentious woman are alike. Whoever attempts to restrain a contentious woman might as well try to stop the wind. His right hand encounters oil, and she slips through his fingers. Iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend, to show rage or worthy purpose. Whoever tends a fig tree shall eat its fruit, so he who patiently and faithfully guards and heeds his master shall be honoured. As in water, face answers to and reflects face, so the heart of man to man. Sheol, the place of the dead, and Abaddon, the place of destruction, are never satisfied. So the lust of the eyes of man is never satisfied. As the refining pot for silver and the furnace for gold bring forth all the impurities of the metal, so let a man be in his trial of praise, ridding himself of all that is base and insincere. For a man is judged by what he praises, and of what he boasts. Even though, like grain, you should pound a fool in a mortar with a pestle, yet will not his foolishness depart from him. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks, and look well to your herds. For riches are not forever. Does a crown endure to all generations? When the hay is gone, the tender grass shows itself, and herbs of the mountain are gathered in. The lambs will be for your clothing, and the goats will furnish you the price of a field. And there will be goat's milk enough for your food, for the food of your household, and for the maintenance of your maids. Proverbs 28. The wicked flee when no man pursues them, but the uncompromisingly righteous are bold as a lion. When a land transgresses, it has many rulers, but when the ruler is a man of discernment, understanding, and knowledge, its stability will long continue. A poor man who oppresses the poor is like a sweeping rain which leaves no food, plundering them of their last morsel. Those who forsake the law of God and man praise the wicked, but those who keep the law of God and man contend with them. Evil men do not understand justice, but they who crave and seek the Lord understand it fully. Better is the poor man who walks in his integrity than he who wilfully goes in double and wrong ways, though he is rich. Whoever keeps the law of God and man is a wise son, but he who is a companion of gluttons and the carousing, self-indulgent and extravagant, shames his father. He who by charging excessive interest, and who by unjust efforts to get gain increases his material possessions, gathers it for him to spend, who is kind and generous to the poor. He who turns away his ear from hearing the law of God and man, even his prayer is an abomination, hateful and revolting to God. Whoever leads the upright astray into an evil way, he will himself fall into his own pit, but the blameless will have a goodly inheritance. The rich man is wise in his own eyes and conceit, but the poor man who has understanding will find him out. When the uncompromisingly righteous triumph, there is great glory and celebration, but when the wicked rise to power, men hide themselves. He who covers his transgressions will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes his sins will obtain mercy. Blessed, happy, fortunate, and to be envied is the man who reverently and worshipfully fears the Lord at all times, regardless of circumstances. But he who hardens his heart will fall into calamity. Like a roaring lion or a ravenous and charging bear is a wicked ruler over a poor people. A ruler who lacks understanding is like a wicked one, a great oppressor. But he who hates covetousness and unjust gain shall prolong his days. If a man wilfully sheds the blood of a person and keeps the guilt of murder upon his conscience, he is fleeing to the pit, the grave, and hastening to his own destruction. Let no man stop him. He who walks uprightly shall be safe, but he who wilfully goes in double and wrong ways shall fall in one of them. He who cultivates his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows worthless people and pursuits will have poverty enough. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he who makes haste to be rich at any cost shall not go unpunished. To have respect of persons and to show partiality is not good, neither is it good that man should transgress for a piece of bread. He who has an evil and covetous eye hastens to be rich, and knows not that want will come upon him. He who rebukes a man shall afterward find more favour than he who flatters with the tongue. Whoever robs his father or his mother and says, "This is no sin," he is in the same class as an open lawless robber and a destroyer. He who is of a greedy spirit stirs up strife, but he who puts his trust in the Lord shall be enriched and blessed. He who leans on, trusts in, and is confident in his own mind and heart is a self-confident fool, but he who walks in skilful and godly wisdom shall be delivered. He who gives to the poor will not want, but he who hides his eyes from their want will have many a curse. When the wicked rise to power, men hide themselves, but when they perish, the consistently righteous increase and become many.